Alright, this video is going to be about organelles involved with cell organization as a job. And so the cell can easily be divided into two major parts. Part number one is the cytoplasm, which is basically the portion of the cell that's outside the nucleus. It's jelly-like. The cytoplasm is made of cytosol. And so it's sort of the structure that holds all of the organelles in place and where a lot of sort of cellular interactions take place. And then part number two is the nucleus. And so the nucleus is this big central item right here. And it is a membrane-bound structure. And remember, we know that nucleus is what defines eukaryotes, and eukaryotes have membrane-bound organelles, so it's surrounded by a membrane. It's a membrane-bound structure that contains DNA. So the nucleus is what we would consider the control center of the cell. At your school, it might be like your principal's office, or in a town, it might be City Hall or something like that. It contains your DNA. It is usually the easiest organelle to see under a microscope because it is usually incredibly large relative to other things and very dense because it's holding your genetic material. And there's usually one per cell. Okay, so most animal and plant cells that we'll be talking about will have a single nucleus. The nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane that has lots of pores. So first of all, let's talk about the portions of that, right? So we know, again, and it is a eukaryote. Eukaryotes have organelles that are surrounded by a membrane, and you should know that all of these membranes are phospholipid bilayers, right? Two layers of phospholipids, just like the cell membrane, okay? And again, it's membrane bound. That's sort of a definition of eukaryotic cells. But it has lots of pores, and these pores allow information to go in and out. That makes sense. What's the point of locking in our DNA into this organelle if we can't get to it, read it, and then send any instructions that we might need out into the rest of the cell? So it makes sense that there's sort of portals in and out, these nuclear pores that you can see sort of dot this nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane. DNA is usually found in the form of chromatin, which we'll talk more about when we get to the DNA unit. Chromatin's sort of thread-like and very associated with other proteins that hold the DNA together. So in this picture, there's sort of different things, but this is pointing to just this dense space of chromatin. You can't really see it. You can sort of think of it like spaghetti in a way. And last but not least, there's an item called the nucleolus. The nucleolus is this sort of central, even more dense portion of the nucleus. And the nucleolus is going to be where ribosomes are made. We'll talk more about ribosomes in a bit.